Hello everybody, my name is Ashley Nalda. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I did the project for the converging diverging nozzle for Professor Ozbay's propulsion class. For my project, my final submission, I ended up using different geometry than the one I'm going to show you the contours on. I just liked the way that it looked better and it just ended up working nicer. However, I'll walk you through that geometry. However, it just takes so long to calculate and mesh on here that I will show you the contours and the plots and how I got them using the older geometry. So for this one here, I'm going to go into design. I already have it open here. So I'm going to go into here. I'm going to go to draw. I use the polyline for this from here to here, here to there, and from there and there and there and there, and then close-ended. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and constrain these to the x-axis before I do anything, and then this one and that one. Okay, and then constraints, symmetry, here, that point, and this point, that point, and that one, and this one, and that one. Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and add some dimensions here. I want this length. I'm going to press length and distance on here, and through here, and this one, and this one, and then from here to here, and then from here to there. And then once I went to there, I'm going to go ahead and modify these. So this is going to be 20. This is the last one, so this will be 35. This one is the bottom one, so this is going to be 75. This is going to be 55. This is going to be 25. And then this one here is going to be 10. Okay, so that is our nozzle, and I can go ahead and yep, now that's good. I can go to concept, surfaces from sketches, this guy. I'm going to hit generate. Perfect. Now that's done. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out, and I'm going to go into this meshing here, and I'm going to hit edit. And let it think about it still. Okay, now that it's here, we can press this, and I'm gonna go ahead and press this edge select. This is gonna allow us to differentiate our walls on our CD nozzle, so that way we can define pressures at the inlet and at the outlet, and it just lets it, you can modify your stuff a lot easier that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and press N here, left click it, press N. This lets you do inlet. Perfect. And then same thing on this side, press N, outlet. And then this one here, you're going to press control, and you're going to go through all of them like this. You're going to press N, and this is going to be the walls. Perfect. And now that we're here, we're going to go to mesh, and we're going to go to method, and we're going to, the geometry is going to be bright yellow till you click it, and then you press that and you hit apply. And then we don't want squares, we want triangles, and then we're going to go back to mesh here, And once again, the smaller you make this, the better it is. So it's going to be 0.001. Let's try that for the sake of this project, for like the video, and then if it looks really bad, we'll redo it. So generate. That's really bad. I would want this a little bit smaller, 0.0001. Now we just have to wait. Yep, this is why I showed it on the other one. So once this meshes and it shows you all, it'll be, oh, there we go. It'll be black. So we have tiny little triangles. That's exactly what we want it to do. So we can go ahead and close out of this. And then we're going to go to here and hit update. Perfect. And going into here, these are the settings that I used for my actual project. When I went into the models here, this tab here, I turned on the energy and I made it in viscid flow. And when I went to the materials, I press fluid, I press air. I changed these to be this, and I hit change create, done, and then not delete, and then you hit close. And then when you go to your boundary conditions, I made the inlet a pressure inlet, and these are the specifications that I used for this. And then the outlet pressure, I made it atmosphere pressure, and I kept the temperature the same that just was here. And then once I went to the reference values in here, I did it from the inlet, and I made the reference zone the surface body. You should get all the stuff here that is your inlet conditions that you specified in here, and with the air, they should show up here. And once that was done, I went to the monitors, residual. I changed all of these to be this value. The smaller, typically, the better. And then I went to initialization. I made it standard, compute from the inlet, and there's that. And then after that was all done, I ran the calculation. I won't run the calculation because it takes so long to do. And then the contours are in here. So the contours, the ones that I want, are pressure, density, velocity, temperature. So the one that I have here is my velocity magnitude. So if I'll hit one that's going to do the opposite. So pressure should have the opposite effect. So saving that. Pressure, save display. Perfect. That's what I want. I want the pressure, the density, the pressure, and the temperature. Okay. Okay, well, that's what I did. And yeah, I just made the exact same thing. However, I just changed my geometry slightly on my project. It is... Ansys is just really mad right now and I don't want to press anything. It just looks like this instead. Let's see if it does it in here. Edit. Level precision, make this A2. And start. Okay, well, this is gonna think about it, but as you can see here, what I showed you on the ants on ANSYS with the other geometry, it was pretty similar to this, but and the one that I made here is really thinking about it. However, once I put in those pressure contours, put in the exact same values for the isentropic flow, it looks like this. And I also got the plots, the static pressure plots along that. And I'll do that in this one. We're just going to go to plots, XY plot, and same thing here. And then sometimes you have to create a new surface, like a line that goes down the center so you can get it along the center. And then you can get your pressure, your velocity, your Mach number, all of that using this, which still won't load. Yep. Yeah, but that's how I got all of this, and these are the ones with the normal shock, and I put these values in for that, and yep.